Something new for today. Massive value, as I would say, in every type of way. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be protecting your business. Is what I can see that's very important. A lot of people I've seen have made the mistake of starting up their business and run into many issues down the road that if only they had known, they would have done things a little bit differently and avoided some common mistakes. So that's why I'm here for you, trying to get you this information so that you can make money, not lose money, and be on the right track. So really getting down to it, the main thing with a trademark or a patent, but a patent's kind of something different for a different video. Really, a trademark, I would say, is going to protect your intellectual properties and prevent other people from copying it, at least, legally. I mean, there's a lot of people that could copy you and you would have no idea until, you actually find it or someone else finds it, brings it to your attention. And until that happens, they're probably going to get away with it. But once you find out about it, if you have a trademark, then there's stuff you can do. If not, and you might even want to just like start a whole new business, depending on how bad the situation gets. So that's why this is so important. Basically going to provide you with a step-by-step guide into getting, in this case, what would be a trademark. And I'm going to explain how that's different from a patent. And the first thing that you want to do, the most important thing you want to do, is go on to the USPTO website. This is the site that you would file to get a trademark and do a search on the business name. And really something that is extra from this, I would say, is that before you even do this, you should have already done the search, to see if your domain name is available, to make sure that nobody else already has that name. So this is really like a second step when it comes to making sure that you got a legal business name that you can use and that nobody can copy, and most importantly, nobody's already filed a trademark or a patent for. So yeah, once you've done that search, I would say the next thing to do is really figure out if you need a trademark or a patent. And in this case, what I'm talking about is going to be a trademark, because it's going to protect the name of your business, and also, if you want to, the logo as well, which I would recommend you having the logo before you do this step so you can include the logo with your name. So yeah, a trademark is going to protect words, phrases, any kind of like design or symbol, whereas a patent is going to protect like an invention, kind of like an idea. Yeah, I have spoke with the people over the phone at the U.S. Patenting and Trademark Office, and I was surprised how helpful they were. They were very helpful with breaking down, the process and how I go about, filing the right paperwork, the time frame it's going to be, what I should expect, things like that. But when it came to explaining them, my business, what I specifically needed a patent or trademark for, that's where I felt like I would not go off of their word. I would not trust them, just in the fact that, if they made a mistake on that, it could cost you a lot of time and money. In my case, I felt like they were trying to get me to file an extra trademark that I didn't necessarily need. So what I did was I looked more into the process, and I realized that, if I do make a mistake, basically I'm not going to get a refund. I'm going to have to do the process all over again. And that's going to be the least of, what happens if I do make a mistake with this. So I realized it was really important to get it right on the first try. So yeah, once you know basically that you have the right trademark, that you're filing with the right place, everything's right, then what you want to do is just go and file the application online. And yeah, it's just going to be at the USPTO website. There's a fee. One trademark I filed for a business name and logo. It's about $350, I would say, for US. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that can determine how much you're going to pay. You might be advised to file multiple trademarks just for one thing. However, this is just the cost of the US Patent and Trademark Office is going to charge you. So after you pay those fees and file the paperwork, it's going to be about, I was told, somewhere between like 9 months to a year before they actually, give me a decision on it. It sounds like they have a line of trademarks and patents that they go through. They only have so many people to do it. So, that's important to know, because you have to wait until that time before you actually get an answer whether you're even going to get the trademark or not. And if you don't, that means you're going to have to start over and most likely wait through that same time period again. However, it is important to also know that while everything, after you file the trademark or the patent, technically, from what I understand, you do have the rights to that idea or whatever you're trying to file, because if somebody comes in the next day, after you and tries to file a trademark or patent on the same thing, theirs is not going to go through until yours gets rejected. Like, you're first in line for that. Nobody can, come in behind you and try to steal your idea like that. But if it doesn't go through, then I'm not so sure on what you're risking, because, if you file something and it doesn't go through, then maybe somebody else that filed after you, it goes through in the time that, you have to wait for the next application, something like that. So that's something I would be aware of. So yeah, after they get back to you, most likely they're going to tell you that everything worked out, your idea is good, you have the patent or the trademark. They might tell you you need to change a few things. They might even tell you you need to just start over again, you filed the wrong thing. So in this case, I want to give you some options that you can think about before you go and file. Basically what you're looking at, if you want to, dot all your I's, cross all your T's, everything like that. Have the peace of mind that you did everything right the first time. It's just going to cost you extra. So I'm going to look at really the most common mistake. This is the main mistake people make when they go to file a patent or a trademark. And really it's something that can be, open to a lot of interpretation. And it's if the Patent and Trademark Office believes that, your name is not distinctive enough, that is too generic. So I mean, that's all really, up to interpretation of whoever is reading over something, So the best thing you can really do is make sure that you have a name that's unique and distinctive, and it should be really able to identify the source of your goods or services. So if you're selling like ladders, it wouldn't make any sense to call your name of your company Windows, right? So really, like, the name of the company should somewhat imply, the product or service that you're selling. So now if you decide that you want to take some extra steps to ensure that, everything goes smooth, the most expensive and most effective way would be to hire an attorney. And of course, there's attorneys that only work with patents and trademarks. That's all they do, so they understand this thing very well. And basically, if you're a small business and you're hiring like a not well-known trademark or patent attorney, it's going to be a very different cost than if you're like a multinational corporation that's trying to hire like one of the most well-known patent trademark attorneys out there. Also depending on, other factors, but when it comes down to the sake of this video, when you're just talking about a name and logo, it's not really that necessary to, go for the best attorney that you can find. But typically, when you do something like this, attorney's going to charge you an hourly rate anywhere from about $150 to $500. And I mean, however much time the attorney feels like they need to handle your situation is how much you're going to get billed for. There are some attorneys that also work on flat fees for this kind of work, anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,500 per patent or trademark. A lot of this is going to be prevention for anything, years in the future that might happen. Most people, I think, really I see are worried about the wrong things. Like, they're worried about someone stealing their idea right away from the start. But really, from what I see in business, is people don't start trying to steal your idea, your product or service until you actually start becoming profitable. And once you start becoming profitable or successful, then, I mean, I'd be surprised if somebody didn't try to steal your product or service. Alright, there's also a cheaper option than going with an attorney, but I would say, there's not as much insurance that everything is going to be done right, and it's also going to cost a lot less. And there's various online trademark and patent filing services that you can hire. It's not going to be as personal. They're basically, for the most part, just going to be having an algorithm that you put in your information and then they go and file a patent or a trademark. I'm not sure as to what extent to actually have people, doing any kind of like oversight on anything to make sure that they're doing things right. So a mistake that you make on your end could, essentially mess up the process. For the most part, these companies are around $200, or a few of them that are $100 per patent or trademark that you file. But like I said, I mean, I don't think that it's really going to give you that much more security over doing it yourself. So, I mean, these are all things to consider, whatever your situation is. For me, when I did my first one, I just did it by myself with the intention, like, okay, life's about making mistakes. If I make a mistake right now, then it's no big deal. I'll just learn from it, and then with the next business I do, I'll have that knowledge. And I mean, sometimes I think it's better to make mistakes than to pay a lot of money, because at least if you make a mistake, you can learn from it. But it all comes down to what you have at stake, what you have to lose, how much time, money, effort you put into your business already, stuff like that. So yeah, the most popular one is LegalZoom. It's about $200, and this does not include the actual money that you pay to the patent and trademark office. The cheapest one that I found was Rocket Lawyer, but I mean, really, like, that was $100. All the rest of them were about $200, and there doesn't seem to be much of a difference between these companies. So I would say, really, like, what's the difference between LegalZoom and Rocket? You just save $100. I wasn't able to really find anything that shows that you're more secure and insured going through a LegalZoom than a Rocket or a trademark engine cost. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, the most important thing to remember is that even though these online services claim to basically provide the same service as a lawyer, they definitely don't, and the price reflects that. So at the end of the day, I would say if you're trying to get legal help with a patent or trademark, say you're doing, the only reason I would think you would really need to hire a lawyer is if your business is already making a lot of money, your business is already well known. But in that case, you probably should have already gotten the patent or trademark anyway. But if you haven't and nobody else has copied you yet, then yeah, I would say hire a lawyer, because you've probably already got too much to lose, and other business people are already watching what you're doing and taking that into account to their strategy. So yeah, that's it for this. Hopefully you got some value off of what I had to tell you. Really, that's all I got to say for now. I'm out.